remember the very first time I ever saw a teacher outside of school as a child. It was when I was in primary 3, out shopping with my mum in Marks and Spencer on a Saturday afternoon. That's when I saw Mrs. Mulholland walking down the escalators. Well, I just about keeled over in the ladies' coat section. What on earth was my teacher, Mrs. Mulholland, doing in Marks and Spencer's in Glasgow or Girl Street on a Saturday afternoon? It made me think, what did teachers do at the weekend? Prior to that life-defining moment, I had just always assumed that they lived in school, that they went off into a wee art cupboard and camped out there until the next school day. What else could they be possibly doing other than teaching us and looking after us? It made me think, what did teachers do when school finished? Those of you sitting in the audience today may know me as Sameera Hussain, a Year 6 teacher at our school. Parents would hopefully describe me as an effective teacher who is always helpful. Pupils have described me as arty, smiley, and very Scottish. But what if I told you that in my role outside of school, I have a following of around 80,000 people on social media? What if I told you that in my life outside of school, I am known as a fashion and lifestyle blogger? Would you believe me? Well, believe me, because it's true. Over the last 5 years, I have not only been teaching, but have also been blogging successfully. Teachers can not only inspire the young minds that we teach, but so many others across the world. The notion that we can not only strive in our main careers, but can also succeed in something else completely separate from our day job is not one that everyone can get their head around, but it definitely is the way forward. Like it or not, the world we now live in revolves around social media. Lifestyle blogging has been around in the West for a number of years, but this trend is rapidly growing in the Middle East, especially in Dubai. So, what do bloggers do? Essentially, blogging allows you to have your own web space where you can write about anything of your choosing. Cliché as it may sound, it can be a creative outlet to get your opinions out to the world, whilst at the same time it can act as a diary to document moments in your life that you may never want to forget. You can be a girl sitting in a room with reviews and opinions and can quickly become someone that others around the world will go to as a source of information. Whether you have one reader or 1 million, that space is yours and those opinions are yours. But with that comes great responsibility. I started my blog off to share tips and tricks on how to approach modest fashion on a budget. Coming from Scotland, this was at times tricky. High street shops didn't necessarily cater for modesty, but after gaining some momentum on my personal Instagram feed, I decided to have a place where I could share my personal looks, but also a place where I could share the direct links to where other like-minded girls could find my outfits. That really is what it started off as, but now I blog about anything from fashion and beauty to travel and lifestyle. But how does this fit in with me being a teacher? That too, a teacher who from the word go knew that she didn't ever want these two worlds to clash. There's no one easy formula really. It takes a lot of meticulous planning of the week to ensure that teaching is my #1 priority, but that my other passion comes a close second. My poor husband may be in the audience thinking, where does he fit into all this? But that's just what happens when you marry someone who isn't happy being just one thing. When you love something and it gives you joy, you just find a way of making it work. The beauty of blogging is that you are your own boss, and although this is not how I make my living, there are many others across the world in the blogging industry making a whole lot of money just from sharing their lives. Often, when you choose to put one part of your life out for the world, people can want more, and that's where things can get a little bit tricky. Where does one draw the line? Well, I started by setting myself my own personal code of conduct for what I put online for the world to see. Firstly, I chose a name for myself for my online presence that isn't Sameera Hussain. When I am a blogger, I am just that, a blogger. There is no mention of my actual career. This often leads to speculation amongst followers, leading to questions like, what do you actually do? For the first few years, there were often baffled readers wondering whether I just stood in my driveway in Scotland, out in the cold all day, posing for photographs against my garage door, in an array of outfits. The truth was, I was posing for pictures in front of my garage door, but I was doing so after university finished, after completing endless assignments, all the while taking placements in a number of schools around Scotland. So, I started multitasking from the very start of my career as a teacher, and I've been juggling both these industries, you could say, ever since. But what this tells us about societal views is that perhaps we are so confined in our views, in our roles as teachers, doctors, engineers and the likes, that we find it difficult to understand when someone is more than one thing. And this is something that we should all be challenging. I am more than one thing. I have many layers to me. However, my main profession ensures that everything that I post is done with my morals, values and beliefs guiding me every step of the way. Before posting something online, I often think to myself, if someone from my life as a teacher were to come across my social media platforms, would I be embarrassed? Absolutely not. Yes, of course I want to keep the two separate so that I am seen as the professional that I am, rather than what people might get a feel of from a few outfit of the day pictures of me. Often, with social media, perceptions can quickly turn to judgments, and people can have preconceived notions about the person that you are. Yes, I blog about fashion and all things girly, but that shouldn't take away from the fact that I am also a strong teacher who is here to give children the best possible education. Why is this? It's because we are so stuck in our views that we can only be good at one thing at a time, that we find it difficult to understand that we now live in a world where multiple skills and ambitions are the way forward. Isn't this what we aspire for our children to be? Don't we tell them every single day that you can be whatever you want to be as long as you put your mind to it? Why does that have to be one thing? We often hear around us as teachers that we should be aspiring for success for all as lifelong learners. So why then do so many of us think that getting into that perfect job in that career that we chose at age 18 is the end of the road? We have to accept the fact that the young people of now no longer want those roles that our parents pushed us into. I'm sure if I said to my dad 10 years ago that I would not be pursuing university to do my Bachelor's of Education and would in fact be sharing style tips with random strangers across the world, he would have had a thing or two to say about that. In his generation, you chose a career and you gave it your all until you could work no longer. But I say, why can't we have multiple careers? Why can't we explore many avenues and inspire future generations to do the same? In both parts of my life, I try to be the best version of myself, and this is something I want every single child in my class to do too. I want them to approach life with the attitude that no matter what path they choose, so long as they do it with conviction and a purpose and put their all into it, it will be worth doing. Time is so precious. I truly believe this. I truly believe that I was born to be a teacher. Yes, I know this in every part of my being. However, I also know that there are so many different layers to human beings that I want to make the best use of time and explore many avenues and give each one that I get into my absolute best. Time is precious. So, should I be able to do all those other things that I'm good at? The answer is, yes, I should. Absolutely, I should. Some of my colleagues may be sitting thinking, there just aren't enough hours in the day to do what we do and something else. Well, they would be right. But like I said, life hasn't got enough time. So we need to make the most of our life and do as many things as that we can and give it our best. Human beings have multiple layers, and it is vital that we explore all the dreams and ambitions that are trapped within those layers. Modern society demands that we strive to be unique, and instead of focusing on a path, focusing on lives focused on just a single path. We should all aim to be more than one thing. Lead a life that doesn't need us to have a label defined by our profession to be our identity. How can we do this? We can do this by not only focusing on our main careers, but also that one thing that we always wanted to get into, but didn't quite have the courage to pursue. Because of privacy and the profession that I work in, my readers may not know that I am a teacher. They don't need to know either. However, I really hope that one day, when I'm old and wrinkly, my grandchildren look back at my blog and think, well, our gran was pretty stylish back in the day. But more importantly, I really hope they think, boy, did she leave an impact on every young mind she taught. Thank you.